everyone, welcome to another edition of Boss in Business, where we talk to amazing, diverse entrepreneurs. This week we have Caleb DeSouza. He's going to talk to us everything about finance, why he started a business, why he became an entrepreneur, and what's inspired him. So, hi Caleb, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Nadine, for having me. It's an absolute honor.
Oh, fantastic. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do? What's your business and your background and everything?
Absolutely, would be my pleasure. Well, Nadine, first of all, I'm one of the directors here at Prudens Accounting. So we're an accountancy firm, but I like to consider myself an entrepreneur. And the reason why I like to say that is because entrepreneur, we solve problems. And, we take pleasure in helping our clients, to overcome some of the problems that they're having in their business. And we have, testimonies beyond that. In terms of my background, I guess you can guess it. I am an accountant. I've been for many, many years in many other different companies. And, for a long time, I wanted to get into the field of entrepreneurship because I believe entrepreneurship is one of those things that reveals a person to themselves. And I recommend it to anyone. And for many years, I stayed away from accountancy. And I was an accountant. I was working as an accountant. And I stayed away from accountancy. And I remember once I was speaking to a mentor and he's saying, the thing that you're running from can be the thing that, perhaps that you excel at. And so I got involved as a business owner, taking responsibility for my own business entrepreneur a few years ago and enjoying the journey so far. And I am sure during our discussion here, perhaps a bit more of that would be coming out.
Yeah, so that's so amazing that you decided to take the leap. I agree with you. Sometimes you run from it so fast, you're like, okay, just run towards it now.
Absolutely.
So how long have you, when did you start your business? How long have you been going for?
Certainly. So this year, at the beginning of this year, was the first year trading in the structure that we were trading at before. Before that, I was partnered up with another company. So we had a business partnership, so to speak, and we did that for 3 years. And at the beginning of this year, we kind of branched out not by myself, but in terms of being the managing director, really. And the whole reason for doing that was just to be able to more design the level of service that we give to our clients. And so I still have my business partnership in my previous company and, pushing ahead, striving ahead very much in this one.
Oh, that's really interesting. How do you manage the two roles together?
Yes.
Are they similar? Like, how does that work?
Yes, certainly. Well, actually, very easily. My managing director, my previous company, is actually a mentor. Very, one of those persons I inspired to be. And so, he was very supportive of the, of going ahead on my own. Provided tremendous support for that. And so in terms of being able to manage it, that makes it very easy. That makes it, very easy because there's now no conflict whatsoever. And I learned so much from him, He's, many years, as an accountant, as a business owner, and someone who I personally, aspire to be. And so managing the two of them it's very easy because of that relationship that I have with him.
That's really cool. I'm hearing like so much about mentors these days. We do mentorship at ACE as well. And most of the entrepreneurs that I feel that are like really going to the next level, they have mentors. And I think sometimes people think mentoring is a younger thing. Like if you're just, when I say younger, I mean, you're just starting and you kind of don't know where you're going. So then you get a mentor to guide you. But actually it's also good to get a mentor when you're like going to the next level as well, right? When you want to when you have great experience, but now you want to take it to a bigger stage or a bigger level or start a business. So what made you get a mentor? Did it just happen naturally or did you seek him out? Like, how did that work?
No, I was very, very purposeful on it. I mean, one of the things that I think and the difference that makes a difference is the books that you read, the audios that you're listening to, and the people that you're hanging around with. And so I purposefully seeked out, as a gentleman by the name of Mr. Nas, I purposefully seeked out. I saw someone who was playing a bigger game than I was playing, someone who I can, learn from, and I purposefully seeked out. And actually, when I started, working, engaging with Mr. Nas, at that point in time, I started off as an external contractor of his, and eventually moved up to actually working alongside him, and now actually, gleaning from him some of his wisdom and knowledge to actually be running my own business. But having a mentor is very, very, very important, because they can see things perhaps that you can't see.
Yeah.
And even in myself, I think, he perhaps saw things in me that perhaps, I didn't see. And because of that relationship, with that mentor. But just before I even go on to that, my mentors and I, we have a tremendously good relationship. But my position with them always in the beginning is a position of how can I serve? Because, people who are busy, you speak to some of them, they're tremendously busy, they're running around, they're managing their businesses. You have to be respectful of their time. You have to be respectful of their time. And so I always went in there with a position as, how can I serve? How can I add value? And taking that position has paid off tremendous dividends to myself and the things I've been able to learn, the contacts that I've been able to glean, the support that I've been able to garner. And so that's, taking that position has been very, very, very beneficial. But in terms of having a mentor, if you want to go to the next level, if you want to be serious with your business, you have to have someone who's gone ahead before you to be able to show you the tracks. I mean, we see mentorship in some form in many other different industries, in sports, high level sports playing people have coaches, in business that we see. So it's something I take, very seriously. I pay, a lot of money myself personally to get mentored and shown by people who are experts in their field. And I'm seeing the dividends of that in myself personally, in my fellow colleagues who work alongside me, and in my business. Absolutely, mentorship, very much recommended.
I love that. I never thought of it like a sports coach. That is just
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Because you wouldn't get to an excellent level as a sports person if you didn't have a coach. Never thought of that.
No.
You're very high energy. You're a bit like me. Where do you get this energy from? It's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, listen, you've got to be excited about what you're going after. You've got to be. You have to give some energy into it. You have to show up like that. I always say to my fellow colleagues, in everything that we do, we got to take the mindset that the most amount of energy is required at the very much beginning. And I like to consider myself at the very much, at the beginning. It's like trying to get that plane off the round one. You've got to give the most energy until you can reach to a cruising altitude. And so this energy that I have here is because, I'm fired up and excited. I'm pleased to have the family around me, the team around me. I'm pleased to see where we're going as a business. I'm super pleased to see the feedback that we're getting from our clients. And so, it's one thing waking up. I always say to people, waking up to go to work. That's a different kind of thing. But when you're waking up to go to something that you're passionate about, something that you're making a difference, something that's having impact, it's a totally different energy. And I recommend to everyone to at least experience that at least once in their lifetime.
Yeah, I agree with you. If it's something you love, it doesn't feel like work, does it?
It doesn't. It certainly doesn't.
It just feels like you're going to, it's another amazing day. Yeah, do it again.
But there are challenges.
Yeah.
We get through them. But yes, no, it's good to be going out there and doing something that that you're passionate about.
So why accounting? What got you into finance in the beginning?
Yeah, a very interesting story. I wonder if I should share it. You know what? I'll share it. I'll share the story.
Share it.
So, I actually went to school in the Caribbean. So I was born in the Caribbean, and I went to school in the Caribbean. And I remember we had a very strict principal, a very, very strict principal. And so here he has us all of us in the assembly hall, and he's going around and he's asking each and every one of us, what is it that we want to do when we grow up? And perhaps maybe some may argue, I mean, it's questionable that I probably was not one of the best behaved boys that he had. It's questionable.
You wasn't. I don't
I know. Tell me about it. And so he's going around, he's asking these questions. And so I turned to my friend next to me. His name is Aiden. I said, Aiden, what are you writing down? He says, I'm writing down an accountant. I said, yep, that sounds like a plan. I'll write that down as well. And he's going to me, and he gets to me, Nadine, and he asks me, Caleb, what is your list? And so I hand him my piece of paper, and it says accountant on top. That's what I want to be. Yeah. And he's going through the list of my subjects, and I did not write, I want to study accounting. So I wrote down maths, I wrote down chemistry, I wrote down physics, but I didn't write down accounting. And so in front of the whole audience, he's shouting, he's screaming, he's like, oh my God, typical, Caleb, typical naughty student. And I guess because of that, because I wrote accounting, now I actually had to study accounting, because every time I saw this principal, his name was Mr. Ashby, he's like, how is the accounting coming along? I'm like, yes, sir, it's going along well. And so that's kind of like how I got into accounting, I guess, because I copied my friend next door. But in getting involved in this profession, I saw the impact that we can have, to help a client who has, a tax liability, and to help, perhaps reduce that, and help, and in doing that, you're affording them to be able to have a holiday, or you're affording them to be able to, to get something nice for their family. And so in being an accountant, I can, I've been afforded the opportunity to show that we care, to show that we serve, and to really have an impact on clients, especially in this COVID environment that we're in, where we're getting tremendous amount of calls, clients are worried, they're concerned. And so while my beginnings probably in the profession may be interesting, but being here and being able to serve in this capacity, we're speaking to these clients, and we're demonstrating that we're caring and explaining things perhaps in a way that, they're able to understand. It's so rewarding.
Many things to say about what you just said. Okay. So in the professional capacity, you're unlike any other accountant I know. You're just so like full of life. Not that accountants aren't, but you're just like more, I don't know, like more entrepreneurial accountant. You kind of have this impression of what accountants are like, and that's not you. And that's a compliment, actually.
Yes, I accept that.
Second thing, I can't believe you were naughty. I don't know why. You just look like
I know.
I can't imagine you getting told off, but it's the ones.
We've all had our phase.
Yeah, exactly. You're an adult now, so it's completely different. That's super interesting that you never meant to do it, and now you're in it, and you're now you got your own business.
And we're excelling.
Can't go
Absolutely.
back now.
And the funny thing is, Aidan is not even an accountant himself. The last time I spoke to him, I'm not too sure what he ended up doing, but he wasn't an accountant. It's like, wow, look how that journey went.
That's great. That's cool. I like that. I was going to come to your background. Obviously, you have an accent. Where are you from? I mean, I know.
Certainly. So I was born in Trinidad, but I consider Grenada home. So Grenada is a very small, beautiful island in the Caribbean. And so I spent my formidable years in Grenada. I left Trinidad when I was really, really young. So I know a lot of people, when I speak to them, they still say I've got that Trinidadian accent. How is that possible?
Yeah.
So were you going to say that?
No.
Caribbean. Caribbean. So, but it's definitely Grenada. It's a beautiful island. Very, very fond memories of Grenada and childhood. It's it's growing up there is so much different than growing up here. I mean, I have spent more of my life now in the UK, cumulatively, but the formidable years, the impressionable years as a youngster was spent in Grenada. Absolutely enjoyed it.
Did that impact like who you are today, do you think?
Absolutely. I think we got the opportunity to see entrepreneurship at a very high level. And what I mean by that is in entrepreneurship where people had to make things, get things done. Growing up in, Grenada is perhaps what we consider a third world country. And so we saw people become very creative, very, very creative, and able to genuinely and literally provide for themselves and their loved ones and develop what we call a work ethic. Tremendous work ethic, work ethics beyond some of the things that I've never seen. And so, and even while doing that, being able to, to demonstrate tremendous love, being able to demonstrate tremendous openness, being able to and my mom is one of those people, one of those individuals as well, being able to provide such a happy home for themselves and their loved ones. It's absolutely, it's just absolutely amazing. And doing these things, sometimes without complaining, doing these things, and you, as a child, not myself, and also my friends, not feeling the pressure of that, being able to experience your childhood and go through that, and you're seeing. I mean, now that I'm older, and I was like, wow, some of these adults in my life, they made tremendous sacrifices for the next generation, myself and my sister and friends as well, for us to do something phenomenal. And that's what I consider entrepreneurship, really and truly. They had that real, that desire. Maybe they may not have considered it that, but I saw that being demonstrated. My mom did many businesses in her lifetime, from having bakeries and shops and restaurants, and really going for it, really giving into it. And I think perhaps, some of that was, passed down to me, because here was this woman, single parent, single parent doing that in the Caribbean. And I have tremendous respect for her and for many others, who I've got to see as a young person making those kind of sacrifices. Absolutely impacted my life.
That's brilliant. Your mum sounds amazing. And, I'm always interested to see, did your parents have an influence in you becoming an entrepreneur? And it sounds like it's a yes. So
absolutely.
A follow-on question would be to that is, who inspires you? And I might know the answer to it, but might be your mum, I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, absolutely. My mom is one of those persons who inspire me. I mean, there are many people who inspire me. Many people inspire me. I mean, I think anyone who is willing to pay a bigger game in life, they inspire me. You can learn something from that person. And who's willing to pay the price? This thing comes at a price, and who's willing to genuinely pay the price and to get involved. And so my mom is certainly one of them. But in terms of business, I think it's actually in terms of business, and life, I love my mom, but in terms of business and in life, I think it would be Mr. Naz. I remember this man has had a lot of impact in my life. He's the mentor, who's in my previous business. And so he's from Pakistan, and he came here to the UK and he created a wonderful life for himself. And I like that tenacity, about him. I actually had the privilege a couple of years ago of flying back to Pakistan with him, and he kind of showed me where he was from. Oh, wow. And yeah, absolutely. Tremendously a great time in speaking. But, in spending time with him, and perhaps it's one of the things that I kind of want to, emulate for myself, whenever he speaks to me, he always speaks life. He always speaks life, like, Caleb, you can go far, Caleb, you can, and he introduces me and he looks at me, as someone who can go and accomplish, really, really great stuff. And I tremendously, appreciate that. You don't understand the impact that can have on a budding entrepreneur, someone who's aspiring. And I'll just quickly share one story, actually. When I went to Pakistan, with him, so I went there, I want to see the place. He has a few businesses out there, so I also went to kind of engage some of his businesses. Mm-hmm. And he's introducing me as Caleb, the entrepreneur, the speaker from London. And mind you, Nadine, I was not that at the time. And I, so here I am. He's introducing me. This is Caleb. He's introducing me to all of his friends who are also very, successful in their own rights. And he organized an event with the Institute of Accountants, so the equivalent of there in Pakistan. And there's he organized this event, and he says, Caleb, you can speak at an event. I'm like, well, what am I going to speak? I don't know anything to speak about. And so I'm petrified. I'm really, really scared. I'm really, really worried. And so I'm spending I was there for 3 weeks. I'm spending some of the time that I was there in preparing, for this event. And so I'm speaking with the organizer. They say, don't worry, there's only going to be a few people, maybe 10, 20, 30. And so Nadine, I turn up on the day, and the room is full about maybe 200 to 300 to 400 people. I don't know. I was so scared. And so I go on that stage, and I'm very worried. I'm very scared. Heart's beating. Oh. And on the front row is this Mr. Naz, and the look in his eyes, the confidence in his eyes. It really, it just boosted me, just filled me with confidence. And I think, in my opinion, I was able to deliver a very well, delivered workshop training. Mm. And the reason why I shared that is really also to tie back into, to finding a mentor, because Mr. Naz, he's not from the Caribbean, he's not necessarily from my culture, et cetera, et cetera. But here was someone who I was able to cross boundaries and borders with, and to build a relationship, which has had so much impact into what I'm doing now, and the impact that I'm having, and the business that I'm running. And for that is something I'm tremendously, tremendously grateful for. So he's one of those persons who genuinely do inspire me, who is, very much in my life. But as I said before, Nadine, hey, you inspire me. Here you are, and you're running this workshop, and you're providing this platform for other entrepreneurs like myself to come on here and to speak about ourselves and share our stories. That inspires me. My team inspires me. I have some of the miracle workers, I call them. Just so wonderful to work with them. And that inspires me because they make it such a joy, and nothing is too challenging for them, and we're all here, we're all pushing for the vision. And so the people who I work for, I must say, they too inspire me.
Wow, I like listening to you. You're just really interesting, and your stories are just like real, you know, like I can just, I feel
Absolutely.
like I'm there, and I saw, you know, like I could see how he looked at you and then you delivered it. That must have been so nerve-wracking. 400 people.
It was very, 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 very nerve-wracking. It was very nerve-wracking. Well, perhaps was frightening times in my life, you know, because that, you know, hey, listen, I didn't have the confidence, and, you know, at the time to be doing that. You know, it's not, you know, I mean, funny enough, I mean, perhaps we'll send him this recording here,
You should tell
once it's
him.
available.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, but he has had tremendous impact on me. I always say he looked at me with those eyes that says, "Wow, Caleb, you know, you can go on and do." And it's a phenomenal feeling. It's a very wonderful feeling to have someone,
Yes.
you know, to, you know. And I always say to people, you know, it's probably a quote I heard: if you don't have to believe in yourself, you got to hang on to someone's belief in you and probably run with that until you develop that belief in yourself. And I guess now perhaps, you know, I've been here for a while. I've developed that muscle a bit. I've built my own belief in myself, and we're just rocking and rolling, really.
Yeah, you seem really confident in a good way, in a like a good way confident, not like in an ego confident, in a like, I want to help you, I know what I'm talking about, let's get this done, let me save you some money, let me get you financially right. Like, it's good.
Wonderful.
And it's funny, like you only need like one person to really believe in you and just to like give you a little bit of a nudge, and you're just away. Often we don't have even that one person, and we have ourselves, but sometimes we doubt ourselves a little bit, right? We're like,
Absolutely.
voice enough. I need another voice, an external voice to say, hey, you can do it. But that's really cool. None of my mentors have been from my background. I did try to find one from my background. They've all been like British men. My latest one is an American guy who I met on Monday, and he's fab. And I totally agree with you. It's like he's done more than me, and I can talk to him and he gets what I'm trying to do. So therefore it's perfect as a match. So
yeah, absolutely. No, I have many, and some of them even, you know, from my background as well. You know, people, you know, who's helped me in many different areas.
yeah.
But Mr. Nas is just one of them that stands out to me the most. You know, only, you know, the tremendous sacrifices he's made in his own life and contribution he's only made in his own life to see my life get elevated. Absolutely grateful.
Well, I can't wait to do part 2 with you.
Oh, it's going to be epic. It's going to be epic. I'm
Yeah.
thoroughly enjoying this, and I'm looking forward to that myself. It's going to be epic.
More questions. Thank you.
Yes.
Nice to see you.